Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Ryan in Singapore. Welcome to our mindfulness practice. Today's topic is following in the vein of what we've been doing in finding ways to support us when we're having difficulty concentrating. So when you find that the meditating cushion seems to be one of those things that you don't want to go to because of just how difficult meditation can be, and how frustrating it can be, and how sometimes I feel so impatient that I don't want to sit for 20 minutes, or however long that first 1 minute of meditation feels so long that I just want to give up and go away. So, what are some ways to make it easier to feel welcome by your cushion and not to run away when we see it? And so some of the ways that we can do it is, hey, do we see some way to help aid in concentration? The words that I've been using recently are training wheels. Are there any training wheels I can put on my meditation practice to make it just a little bit easier to come to, so that I don't feel like I'm constantly distracted all the time? And can I feel more comfortable with doing my meditation? So the one, kind of the foundational one, and I think it's the one that I use more frequently, is counting breaths. And I'd say I use it more frequently because, that's one of my insomnia tricks. So if I find myself not able to sleep, it's usually because my mind has a mind of its own and it wants to go all over the place. And so one of the ways that I can kind of help get the reins back on my mind is to use counting. And what I do is I'm counting my breaths. So inhaling, exhaling, 1. Inhaling, exhaling, 2. It's like counting sheep, right? You instead of imagining imaginary sheep jumping over a fence or something, we're just counting the number of breaths that we have, and that can be very helpful in insomnia. And I think that as I close this aids in concentration sessions, we kind of moving a little bit into what I wanted to get into eventually is self-compassion, but I think we'll have a little pit stop on insomnia first, since we've been talking just briefly about that, and I know there's been a little bit of interest in talking about insomnia, so we'll talk about that a little bit more. Tam says, I use 4-7-8 to breathing to fall asleep. Thanks for sharing that. That's another breath work that we've covered here just a little while ago, and I think that's a really it's powerful. I'll just briefly make a pit stop here at 4-7-8. It's powerful because of that extra long exhalation. So it's two things. One is that the counting as we inhale, the counting holding the breath, the counting as we exhale, these are all good ways to focus the mind on counting. And then the additional benefit is the exhalation being longer than the inhalation aids in relaxation through activation of the parasympathetic nervous system. So it's a really powerful little way to help to relax the body, to use a mechanism that we have inside of us, so we don't have to go anywhere. We don't need anything external to do it, that it's all here within us, and that we can, not only be concentrated, but also aid a little bit in relaxation. So what I wanted to talk about today is using something external to aid the mind in concentration. And one of them that that I have, and I'll say, I tend to, I feel like the time I use something like this the most is like on an airplane. So I find that airplane can be a bit distracting. So it can be harder for me to meditate on an airplane. So I may get out these beads, which I tend to wear these on my right arm so that I have them most of the time. And what you can do is you take them off. And the recommendation is to count them with the in-breath, and with each in-breath is to move one each full breath cycle, as each full breath cycle completes, to move to the next speed. But this one in particular I like because it has this different bead, which I just learned it's called the guru bead. So it's different from the rest of them. And so when I've done this, instead of using my breath, I've just continuously move, just slowly. And what I'm doing here is using these as my object of meditation. So I'm using the sensation in my hands. So this is one of the things, right? So when we're meditating, there's something that's called the object of meditation, which holds us in the present moment. So tends to be, well, it has to be something that's happening right now. So it tends to be one of the five senses. So we're tuning into sight. And by the way, you don't need, this one activates touch, right? So we can use this or something like this to focus our attention fully into the fingers and into the hand and feeling as we're moving this. But you don't have to use touch. A little while ago, we used sound, right? So I can use my singing bowl. I can play the singing bowl and use the constant sound of the singing bowl to be some external object in which to rest my attention, right? So there are several different ways to do it. And so, singing bowls can be used to anchor the mind on an external object of sound. And so, I think like what I struggle to differentiate is when we're just opening our awareness to sounds and letting our awareness discover whatever sound is falling on our ears in the present moment. So really paying attention to hearing versus paying attention and focusing on a particular sound, right? And so you'll find that changes how concentration, how we are able to concentrate and the level of concentration we're able to achieve, whether it's something that is designed for us to focus our attention on versus excuse me, versus something that is just there in the present and we're letting our attention rest on. So you'll find that if there's something that you're intentionally focusing on, that it tends to aid in concentration. So focusing on the gentle rising and falling of the chest or the abdomen as you breathe, the sensation of air moving across your nostrils as you breathe might be harder than something like this. Because when we've got something like this as well, we're also doing something active, right? So most mindfulness practice, or all the mindfulness practice that I teach, when it's pure mindfulness practice, we're observing things as they are in the present moment, no matter what it is. So just pure observation, pure passive observation. And so with something like this, we're activating our conscious mind to do this motion, right? To make this movement happen. My brain has to tell my hand to move these beads. And so that is like one little extra step in the mind, which that activity can be helpful in focusing, right? It's kind of like when I'm, if you look at something that is extremely immersive, like let's say water skiing, right? If I'm water skiing, it's hard for me to think about my schedule for tomorrow. What am I going to be doing tomorrow? Because my mind is fully absorbed in this activity of water skiing. So the more that we put in our minds, the harder it is to let go and to go somewhere else. So this is just kind of adding one little doing thing to kind of help guide us into that flow state. And using little external objects like this can be something that is done temporarily, that you can start with this. You can use this kind of external object to aid in your attention in the beginning of your meditation. And then as you start to move into a deeper state of concentration, we can start to see, well, maybe maybe I can let go of this. Maybe I can put this down and I can focus on my breath and see how that goes for a while. Did I cultivate in those few moments some attention that I'm able to start to let go and use simply my breath by itself? And then, maybe we put this down and we focus on the breath for a while and we go, oh my goodness, my mind is wandering so much. I'm so frustrated. Maybe I can go back to my concentration aid. So again, this is about self-compassion, about non-judging, about understanding ourselves as we are in this moment and not trying to force things and trying to find what's the best way for me to do the thing that's good for me, right? Is it possible for me to find some way to be present and to be meditating in this moment? So if you have some kind of meditation, some kind of external meditation aid, I would encourage you to let's try it out together. Go get it now. We'll start the meditation here in about a minute or so. So go grab your thing. Just to let you know, another one. So sounds for, using a singing bowl to concentrate on sound. For sight, a great thing is a flame, which I have personally used on meditation retreat to keep myself awake and focused during those extremely difficult late hour meditations, and it's 9 p.m. and all I want to do is go to bed. And I've got another, 30 minutes to go. That was extremely helpful, having the candle in front of me to focus my eyes and attention on, to keep me awake in that darkness. So smells, right? Using some kind of smell in the room can be helpful in focusing. So all of this kind of stuff, yeah, and here Chris says, I have a turquoise rock, one side smooth, made to hold. And that could be another thing, right? Like holding a crystal. I find a lot of people who meditate like to use crystals, placing a crystal on your body and using the sensation of that crystal to hold you in present moment awareness. So I'm gonna sit back a little bit away so that you can see. I'm just gonna hold this and move it. And what I'm gonna do is each time I get to this guru beat, I count 1. And the next time, right? It takes a long time to get there. Can I count 2? Do I lose count? Do I stay focused? Right? I mean, this is part of the exercise, right? That's kind of helping me to see, using this external object as an anchor and also as a guide. How concentrated am I? I can see. And can I do it without judging? Go, okay, I lost concentration. My concentration isn't as honed as I think it is right now, right? Or as I would like it to be. Does that show up? Do we end up saying something along those lines? So get comfortable wherever you are. And if you like, allowing your eyes to close. So let's just start by observing what it feels like to be here right now. Noticing that I have a body. And my body is affected by Earth's gravity. I can feel Earth's gravity pulling down on me. And that to maintain my life, I must breathe. So can I feel what it feels like to be breathing right now? And so let's say that you have some beads that you're using. What you can do, especially if they're all, like this one's all uniform, right? So if they're all uniform, just inhaling, exhaling, 1. Or if you have one like this that has a different bead, what I tend to really like to do is just to continuously, slowly move it. And when I get to that different bead, counting 1. And as you're doing this, you can divert part of your attention to the body, to the feeling of breathing, so that we're cultivating that ability to meditate without something external at the same time. So moving the beads, but at the same time maintaining awareness of breath. And maybe there's a mantra or some chanting that you want to do. That is really common with different religious traditions. Or a rosary might be something that's familiar to you. So all of this, it's the core underlying principle for all of this is aiding in concentration. And these beads I'm holding are small volcanic rocks from Bali. I can notice as I am touching them that each one of them is unique and different. They're not all the same kind of smooth feeling beads. They are a bit rough and a bit different. So for me, this feels, it almost feels like cheating. It feels so much easier to maintain concentration when I'm moving this little set of beads in my hand here. And so be aware of that, because there is benefit in not having the training wheels on our meditation practice. Again, is it possible to observe without judging, to know what I need without saying, I'm trying to accomplish something. I'm a better meditator because I'm not using an external concentration aid, right? So notice yourself if those are the thoughts that are coming up. This isn't about accomplishing anything or going anywhere. All right, so I'll just invite you to let go of whatever it is that you're using as an external aid and come back to the body itself. This body that you bring everywhere with you, that even if you've forgotten your beads or your crystal, it's always here. And the other thing that's always here is the breathing. Can you just take a few moments as we start to close our practice to pay attention fully to that in-breath, fully to that out-breath. And I'll close our practice with 3 rings of the bell. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for practicing with me. Thanks for being here with each other. And how did it go? What happened today? What was it like? Did you use an external aid? If you did, was it helpful? Thank you, Jean. Cece says, I realize I like guided meditation. I don't concentrate on the words usually, but the sound of the voice. Thanks, Cece, for sharing. That's another good external object, right? The sound of the voice. Maybe connecting with another human being, hearing the voice of a person guiding you through your meditation, allowing you and helping you to concentrate. So as we start wrapping up, like I mentioned, if you're just joining me now, or you joined in the last, in the last 20 minutes, I'm wrapping up a little bit early today because I want to check out Ask Your Guides with Alejandro H. is the guest today. He's been a person who's regularly joining my live events for a long time, a few years ago. Haven't seen him in a while, so I'm really excited to drop in and to see how he's doing and to hear a little bit about his teaching and all of that. So I think it'll be fun. Join me over there. It's starting literally in 15 seconds. So I'm going to wrap up here quickly and start to head over there, although I should say not too quickly. Alexa says, I normally focus on the sound of voice, but try to focus on only one sound like birds. Thanks. Jean said, I started with a cold of stones, then meowing cat jumped up, inhaling, exhaling, petting your furry friend. Thanks, everybody. Let's close practice as we do with some well wishes. May I be happy and peaceful. May everyone watching, listening, wherever you are, I wish you all happiness and peace. And may all sentient life on this planet, near and far, big and small, even those who have yet to be born, may we all be happy and peaceful. All right, thanks so much. Until next time. Bye-bye.